Something unusual is about to unfold in your life, something your heart has been quietly preparing for without you even realizing it. This isn't just another date on the calendar or another week passing by. In the days ahead, a shift will happen that will realign your path in ways you couldn't have arranged yourself. It's not coincidence. It's timing, divine timing. God has been watching you navigate storms in silence, endure struggles no one else noticed, and carry the weight of people who were never meant to stay forever. He's seen the unspoken exhaustion, the hidden tears, and the moments you've questioned if you could keep going. And now, the season for quiet endurance is ending. This week, specifically Wednesday, marks a turning point. Something or someone will be gently but firmly removed from your life. It may be a friend, a partner, even a family member. It won't be an act of cruelty, it will be an act of protection. Heaven isn't taking to hurt you, it's making space for what's been waiting to reach you. The truth is, the next part of your journey can't begin while you're still tied to what has been draining your soul. You'll see masks fall, you'll feel the atmosphere shift. Conversations will reveal more than the words themselves. What happens will not be random, it will be intentional. And if you're willing to pay attention, you'll understand exactly why it's happening. Before I explain how to recognize the signs, I want you to stay with me through this message. Like this video, write 777 in the comments and share it with someone you care about so they're ready too. The energy surrounding this week is rare. Venus and Jupiter, the planets tied to love, truth, and expansion, are aligning in a way that acts like a celestial spotlight. Hidden tensions will surface. Secrets will lose their cover. You may find yourself suddenly seeing someone exactly as God has been seeing them all along. If love and respect have been the foundation of your connection with someone, this energy will deepen it. But if there's dishonesty, resentment, or hidden motives, that will be magnified too so clearly that it will be impossible to ignore. And here's the divine layer to it all. God is using this cosmic moment to move you into alignment. You will be given a choice: cling to the familiar that's quietly suffocating you, or step forward in faith, trusting that what is leaving is part of His protection. Not every separation will look dramatic. Sometimes it's a conversation that doesn't happen, a text that isn't returned, or an invitation that never comes. Sometimes it's simply a sudden lightness when you imagine life without a certain presence. That's not coincidence, it's confirmation. When heaven closes a door, it's because something better is ready to enter. And this week, the alignment of energy and divine timing will make it very clear which doors are closing and which ones are ready to open. You might feel sadness, relief, fear, and hope all at once. That's the mark of a real shift, the kind that changes the course of your life. Watch for the signs: a conversation that feels strangely final, an inner nudge you can't explain, or a calm clarity about what needs to end. God is not asking you to fight the process, He's asking you to trust it. The removal is not about loss, it's about clearing the way for blessings that couldn't come before. By the time this week closes, you may notice the space left behind isn't empty, it's filled with possibility. A sudden idea, a new opportunity, a connection that feels like fresh air after months of heaviness. This is not the end. This is the pruning before the bloom. And when the new chapter begins, you'll see why this Wednesday had to happen exactly as it will. God never leaves an empty space without purpose. When He takes something away, it's always to make room for something more in line with your calling, your purpose, and the life path He mapped out for you before you ever drew your first breath. This week, that space is sacred territory, a spiritual clearing where new blessings are meant to take root. It's an invitation to trust that the author of your story knows the plot far better than you do. The next chapter is already written, and it doesn't just meet your prayers, it exceeds them. The relationships, opportunities, and insights heading toward you are already moving into place, but they require this removal to fully reach you. As this shift begins, you may sense the world around you feels slightly off. The morning light may seem sharper, the air might feel heavier or strangely charged. Conversations could carry an undercurrent, as if every word belongs to a larger script you can't quite see yet. That's because on Wednesday, the spiritual veil between what's visible and invisible will thin. On that day, your spirit will notice more than your mind can logically explain. You'll pick up on subtext without trying. You'll feel a person's energy before they even walk in. And deep within your bones, you'll know certain connections are reaching their God-ordained expiration date. These moments are not random. God moves with precision. He doesn't take away simply for the sake of loss. He realigns you so you can enter places you could never step into while carrying certain weights. Sometimes that weight is a friend who no longer fuels your growth. Sometimes it's a relationship quietly dimming your light. And sometimes it's someone whose time in your life was beautiful but is now complete. The alignment on this day won't roar. It will whisper. It may show up as your heart suddenly feeling lighter after a difficult conversation. It may come as a burst of clarity where you realize you've been holding on to someone out of habit, not love. Or it may echo in the quiet relief that comes when you stop resisting the change and start welcoming the release. This is the sacred exchange. Whatever God removes, He replaces. But to receive what's next, you must allow the space to open. This Wednesday's space-making isn't only physical, it's spiritual. It's preparing the ground for prayers you once forgot you prayed, blessings you once thought out of reach, and people whose presence will water the seeds He's already planted in you. So don't rush to fill the void. Don't turn back toward what's walking away. Stand still, breathe, recognize the holiness of this moment. Years from now, you may look back and see this week as a turning point, the quiet, sacred moment when God began rewriting the ground beneath your feet. But here's what you need to understand. Turning points rarely arrive with fireworks. More often, they come quietly, disguised as endings you didn't choose. Yet beneath that ending is an unseen beginning, a thread. Heaven has been weaving through your life for months, maybe years. This Wednesday's shift is no accident. Its timing is exact, its alignment deliberate. Heaven has already set the conversations, the silences, and the circumstances in place to show you clearly who can walk with you into the next chapter and who cannot. And while your heart may ache, your spirit will feel that subtle release, like unclenching a fist that's been gripping too tightly for too long. That release is not weakness, it's trust. Trust that the God who knit you together in your mother's womb knows exactly who needs to stand beside you in this season and who must step aside so you can breathe again. This is happening now, not last month, not next year, for a reason. You've reached a threshold, and the landscape beyond it is different. You cannot carry every old weight across new ground. Some loads must be set down right here before you take another step. So when the departure comes, whether sudden or silent, resist the urge to chase after it. Lift your eyes, because what's coming toward you is far greater than what's leaving. And as the hours pass after this divine removal, something inside you will begin to shift. It won't crash into your life like thunder. It will unfold quietly, like dawn after a long night. You may find your thoughts clearer, as if a fog has lifted. The heaviness in your chest, that invisible pressure you had learned to live with, will begin to fade. In its place will be a stillness, not empty, but filled with presence. A presence whispering peace, direction, and the nearness of God. When heaven shifts your path, the voices, energies, and unspoken demands that once influenced your choices will lose their power. The loudest voice you hear will no longer be theirs, it will be His. In that clarity, you'll recognize patterns you once ignored. You'll remember moments when you felt uneasy, but brushed it aside. You'll realize that what is leaving was never meant to carry you into the future you've prayed for. Then blessings will begin to appear not in dramatic floods, but in divine appointments and quiet openings. A conversation that sparks hope, an opportunity that seems to find you, an inner nudge that leads you right where you need to be. These are the first signs of alignment, the proof that God hasn't just removed what hindered you, He's guiding you toward what will lift you higher. This is not the moment to look back or second-guess Him. It's time to step forward with quiet confidence, knowing you are being led into a chapter you could not have entered while carrying what's now gone. In time, you'll see this week not as the moment you lost something, but as the week heaven made room for the answer to a prayer you forgot you prayed. When God removes someone, the shift might not be visible right away on the outside, but it's immediate in the spiritual realm. From the instant heaven severs the tie, a ripple begins in your spirit, your mind, and even your circumstances. The things that once drained you will no longer touch you. Situations that once entangled you will dissolve on their own. It will be like the invisible weight on your ankle has been cut, and only then will you realize how heavy you had been walking all along. In the days after Wednesday, you may feel a strange mix, grieving the familiar while feeling a deep peace for what lies ahead. This is not contradiction. This is what divine alignment feels like. The human heart mourns what it knew. The soul celebrates the freedom to move forward. Pay attention to the small signs. You may hear their name and feel nothing. Walk into a space that once made you anxious and find yourself calm. Realize your decisions are no longer shaped by someone else's approval. That's freedom, the kind that doesn't need to be announced because it radiates from within. And in that freedom, you'll notice something extraordinary. Doors once locked for years swinging open, paths you thought were closed appearing again. The opportunities arriving will not fight for space with the old. They will thrive in the room God has prepared. And remember, this removal isn't only about you. Sometimes God moves you out of alignment with certain people so He can work in their lives too. Your absence may be the space they need for healing, correction, or awakening. Likewise, their absence may be exactly what you need for growth, expansion, and destiny. So see this not as loss, but as divine orchestration. Heaven's precision leaves no room for coincidence. The timing, the conversations, the feeling in your spirit all aligned. And when you start to see the blessings, the answered prayers, the unexpected help, the renewed energy, remember that it all began in this moment of letting go. Because the truth is this, nothing God asks you to release is needed for the future He's planned for you. And nothing He withholds now will ever be necessary for the fullness of your destiny. This Wednesday will be more than just a date on the calendar. It will be a spiritual milestone, a before and after in your life story. In the days that follow, the change may show up subtly, a quiet in your heart, the gradual dissolving of the tension you've been holding. It might fade like the last shadows of night as the sun rises. You'll breathe more deeply. Conversations will drain you less. The urge to justify yourself will lessen. Thinking of that person will no longer tighten your chest. This isn't coldness, it's release. It's reclaiming the energy that was always meant to be yours.